Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wheresoever part of the world you might be following from. This is Focus on Liberia. We are currently live here in central Monrovia, specifically on Kerry Street here. We have come to either our Liberians on some trending national issues. And among some of the national issues will be President Bouakai says the CBL Governor Talu is suspended with all pay based on Audit General's report. The compliant audit of the Central Bank of the fiscal year 2018-2023. But Talu lawyers say to the Supreme Court the president's action was illegal and unconstitutional, asserting that the removal of the executive governor of the CBL will only occur through impeachment by the legislature. So we have come to speak with Liberians as we'll get their views as well. Welcome, sir. What's your name?
Thank you very much. My name is Razak Kane. I'm from Baboru County.
Okay. Welcome to Focus on Liberia.
It's a pleasure.
Okay. So, do you think the CBL governor's suspension is constitutional or not?
The issue is, I would say yes.
Okay.
I would say yes and yes again. Because the issue is the governor have violated the entire system of the central bank, where partners, investors, and people who keep their money in the bank are no longer waiting to work with the bank governor. And in that law, it is expedient on the part of the president to have him being removed. That is being suspended without his pay. You know, we are following some political aspect of this democratic process.
All right.
That is his lawyers and asserting Article 20 of the Liberian Constitution that it is wrong, that it is a violation on the right of their client to be removed. Then we too also as citizens are also citing Article 34B of the Liberian Constitution that says before the central bank, on any transaction, the central bank should read the horse of legislature. And in numerous transactions, the central bank refused to even read the lower house for any concurrence. Even the board of governors, Article 34D again, the board of governors must sign on every transaction. There are a lot of transactions that are just being done on the counter by the governor without board member signature, without information to the capital building or so forth. Now keeping such a man at the bank where have violated almost all of the fiscal standings of this country, keeping him there, I think it will impede the financial system of this country. So it is expedient on the part of the government to have him being replaced. Though people do not understand some of these things. Even if you are being replaced by impeachment by the lawmakers, you also have your right to go to court. It is in the act of the central bank. That is the 1999 act that created the central bank, section 14.1 or 14.2 states that if you are being impeached by the House, you also have the right to go to court. So saying you are being suspended, he has a right to go to court. But our issue is the according for prohibition, which it is their right. Now we are looking at the Supreme Court interpretation of this identical situation, where the Supreme Court, if the Supreme Court grants such a man an authority that have mismanaged the financial space of this environment to give him the grant to still remain a central bank governor, then that lies in the interpretation of the Supreme Court.
Do you think the Supreme Court is going to side with President Bouakai or Governor Talu?
I will not say with side, because if I say with side with His Excellency Joseph Nima Bouakai, then probably they are working in one line. But I think the Supreme Court will do her utmost best in this kind of a situation where donors, including IMF, including America, including other donor partners, they too have been stated in the past regime that the brothers have taken donor funds, have misapplied it. We said it was a joke. Now donors are saying they can't work with this bank. Now who are we if we do not have donor support to this bank? So the best thing to do is to have him on the side so that investors will come to put their money in the bank, so that donors will come to put their money in the bank, so that you and myself as Liberians can be trusted to count transactions in the central bank. Are you also aware, let me just say this, are you also informed that there were 19.3 million that were being infused into two banks in this country? That is, and the FR Bank, the FRB Bank, that was part of the process, and then the GM Bank. After those guys infused our money in those two banks, and then they said they were building their financial capacity, only to look those guys decided to sell those 2 banks to another 2 banks. That is, they sold First International Bank to Sapere International Bank, Liberia Limited. You see some kind of bank they pass around this country. Then they also sold GN Bank to Bloom Bank, Liberia Limited. So are you telling us that when somebody steal our money, they go to put it in another bank, then they sell the bank to different people? We should let them to be there for 5 years while they keep managing the financial system of this state? For me, I say no. So I support His Excellency's decision to suspend the governor of the central bank.
So the law says the governor can only be removed through impeachment by the legislature. Do you think the president is relying on another law, or is this a mistake?
I hope that you dig further where there's an experience in that process, okay, where if the central bank governor have some financial misappropriation, it can also be removed. Okay. I hope you're following that. I hope you're also following that when the central bank governor is mentally incapacitated, it can also be removed. So there are a lot of issues, apart from the law directly, but there are other issues under the law. So what are the other issues under the law that in the act of the central bank?
Okay. So if the Supreme Court overturns the president's suspension, do you think he will find another way to get rid of Governor Talu, just like in the case of the 10 officials?
No, if you say just like in the case of the 10 officials, then probably you want to sway different sides.
No, I'm not swaying.
10 officials did not do nothing and President Mulbah was after them. The 10 officials, the law says, if you are a 10 person and you wear political party t-shirt to go and campaign, the people have the right to remove you because it is a conflict of interest. So Governor Talu issue is not like that, but we are hoping and we are very much confident that the Supreme Court will do the best thing and will rule in the interest of the Liberian people.
Well, finally, what do you make of President Bouakar's leadership of the country over the next 7 months now?
President Bouakar's leadership is doing extremely well. It is doing extremely well. You see, there are so many issues.
There have been too many complaints.
Yeah, there will be too many complaints. We have just taken over. This is 7 months now. There were a lot of inherited difficulties that we met, and we met. And the young people are being damaged by 100 million jobs. We try to work out jobs for this country, though it is difficult. We met too many money infused in the economy. Plenty of money, you go buy 300 alcohol at 2 spoons of rice, no water. Plenty of money chasing behind small goods. We can't met those things. We can't met a scattered security system where partisans from different parties were insulting all in the street because they felt they were wearing barrels. But under this regime, you don't see that. You see us interacting into coexistence where you don't even know the difference from United Partisans, Sedition, Liberty Partisans, and so forth under this administration. We also met our image. We are being broken and damaged in the international communities. President Bouakar is rebuilding our damaged image into the international communities. In this same few months, the first time in the history of Liberia, in a few months, to see that we have written UN telling them that we want to establish War and Economic Crimes Code, and they have received our letter. Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, have acknowledged the public that he has received a letter from Joseph Nima Bouakar to establish War and Economic Crimes Code. In the same few months, we are trying to restructure and re-strengthen ECOWAS. We are trying to restructure and re-strengthen MRU. All of these things are being done by His Excellency Joseph Nima Bouakar for now. So we are doing extremely well.
What do you have to say to the opposition community? Recently, former President Josh Weah addressed the press at the headquarters of the CDC, and among many things, he said that this government is wish hunting. Do you agree with that?
Probably. You see, President Weah, former President Weah, my issue with him is to be a former president, you must maintain that line as a former president. If he still wants to be an opposition leader of the opposition people, then you remain an opposition leader. Now, our issue is that he just grabbed the word wage hunt. What do you call wage hunt? So they say a wage hunt, your former security advisor was being caught into a situation. The former FIU managing director was being caught also into this situation. The government caught them and put them behind bars. Then he said, wage hunt. Oh, because Samuel Tuer now, we are calling on Samuel Tuer to make sure he can't face injustice in this country. Is it what we call wage hunt? Now, the issue is that Samuel Tuer might be coming to the country tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. Where people said they will protest, they will do that, they will do that. Would dare anyone of them to protest? The law will take a course, and President Weah has told us.
Protest is not a bad thing on our law.
Yes, it is a food for democracy. We are aware that protest strengthens democracy.
Why are you threatening? Why are you threatening other people not to protest?
We are not threatening them. We are not threatening
You
them.
protest.
The issue is
your government protests in the country as well.
Yes, protest is a food of democracy. We are aware that protest must be done, but on which basis? You have the gavel, you have all these things, we have so many reports. John Mulbah that Manasseh leadership was 100 times corrupt than any other president in this country. They brought out report your desk. But you say, yeah, Manasseh, you're related. So you don't audit them, Manasseh, because they can show you, you're the power sharing. They told you say, anybody can, and they will not be audited. But now, you see the situation have come. Now, Manasseh is not in line with Waka, saying that you support all strands of Waka to fight corruption in this country. You say, where she have left former President George Weah. So she has left it now in the pit when he's fighting, struggling to come out. So for me, I will encourage them to not protest. I will encourage them to do the best in them. All those that will honor their regime, if they want to come back to this country to serve, let them face in the justice system. It does not mean if you are indicted, meaning you are guilty. No, it means you are going to go clear yourself. Let them go and clear themselves. Samuel Tue is coming. Why must you escort Samuel Tue? You say you escort him to the party headquarters. From the party headquarters, you escort him to the court. And if the court deny him bond and so forth, are you the judge? The judges could decide their own decision on that day of prosecuting Samuel Tue. So will you force them? As a former president, you did it to Bernie Samuel here. You did it to other people all around here. And people sat down, they clap for you. They say, well, your administration was doing the best. Why do you want to escort justice former President George Manneh Weah? It will not be a good sign. It will not be a good deterrent. So for me, I'm calling on him to remain law-abiding, as others are calling on him to do. Because if he gets in the street where there will be violence, you know violence is always being replied or accepted by violence. You don't know the stance of the police, that will not be Bwaka, but the stance of the state security. The state security will not just be providing security, but just Mr. Bwaka alone. Man say I need security, you say you need some. The other brothers, even his party too need some. So the security will want to come and draw a line of understanding. We don't know.
The police boss already confirmed in his press conference yesterday that in the coming days there will be series of protests to unspecified places around the country.
Yeah, all unspecified protests will be headed and done by CDC. Nobody else will be headed and done by CDC.
Apart from CDC, there are Liberians as well who are disenchanted.
They are seditious. They are group of seditious. The only sedition will protest against Joseph Juma Bwaka for now. You took group of people illegally, stuck them on the payroll of this country. And these are some of the questions that Samuel Tue must come to answer in this country. The supplementary pay. It was not in our budget. How was he paying for on supplementary? These are some of the questions that he come to answer. Then we hear say, people say the EPF, people they put it down. People say they're working on the other side, they put it down. No president of this country ever dismissed civil servant easily, except if you don't go to day after 14, you work after 14 days, and they will warn you. The next one after 14 days they will be dismissed. Then we hear in his press statement saying that the government dismissed civil servant, the Bwaka government dismissed civil servant. Those are fallacy, and we expect as a former president to have more understanding on the democracy. Well, he does not have much understanding on the democracy of this state.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Razak Kane from Babul County.
Thank you, Razak. Let's speak to another person right here. This is Focus on Liberia, and we are currently at the Central Monrovia, where we have come to speak with citizens. So, what's your name?
Well, my name is J. Abdul Makambi.
Okay.
National Patriotic Party of Liberia.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
As has the National Patriotic Party.
Well, the National Patriotic Party is trying to come out. We are working on modalities to do so. Okay.
Well, your party had a press conference recently where the chairman said that he supports the persecution of former officials of government. Your Senator Barrakim and denied that as well. How do you feel about such a thing happening in your party?
Well, the Senator Barrakim being part of the past regime, you know what she did? Maybe that's because of that. And maybe coming in that direction, but no sound person will go against persecution of criminals within the justice system.
So you support that? Okay, back to the Central Bank of Liberia issue. Do you think the CBL Governor suspension is constitutional or not?
Not only constitutional, but highly constitutional.
Highly constitutional. Okay.
I will explain details into that. You know, the act that created the central bank was created against the Constitution of Liberia.
Okay.
The reason here is Article 56 that gave the power to the president to appoint and remove at his pleasure, but never ever repeal under the sun in this country. But if it does, then we were going to have a referendum of voting to remove that article. But it never happened. I think journalists should investigate that. Then going about holding ground envelope at the Capitol building to just complicate issues around here by not reading the Constitution. It's unfortunate on the part of the legislature who created this nightmare. This is a nightmare. The Constitution makes sure that before an article is removed from the Constitution, Article 2 says you should not go about adding inconsistencies against the law. Alright? Article 2, Section paragraph B went against that particular act. It said any act or treaty, custom, come inconsistent with the Constitution of Liberia, 1986 Constitution of Liberia, should be considered what? No law. And the Supreme Court is under obligation to explain to the people that this, because it was created against the article of the state, it should be considered no law. So the central bank coming out now to say that law is non-existent, that law is just a fantasy. We're going to go behind the Constitution or through the Constitution to make sure that all any positions should be removed by virtue of the law, because it was not legally done, and any act done illegally will not be considered at all.
With this happening now, do you think the Supreme Court is going to side with the President Bwakai, or Governor Tyler?
Well, the Supreme Court should be very mindful of Article 73, that any act of breaching the peace of the nation, that interpreting the contrary to the contravention of the Constitution, contrary to the Constitution, they must know that they are to face the legislature for impeachment. They must be prepared for that, because we are willing to write a house requesting for that impeachment based on these articles that I'm reading. Alright? So they should be very mindful of Article 73 within the Constitution of Liberia. Whenever they are carrying on, because they said it before, we forgave them because reference to LTA, they were interpreting the law against the president's power, which was now repealed, and LTA power was created to supersede unrepealed article. Alright? So because of that, they went to say, oh, the president was wrong for removing these people. I said, no, repeal the president's power before creating these powers. But all the training positions that were created by brown envelope, by them, the brown envelope, brown their face, they were not looking at the Constitution, they were creating these articles or these training powers. They should go back to that process and correct themselves and make sure that the right thing be done. Outside of that, we will protest against the Supreme Court action at all they go against the Constitution, because that's constitutional mandate. That any act come inconsistent with the law, the 1986 Constitution, should be considered no law. Alright? So they should be very mindful of Article 2 and then to respect Article 56.
So the law says the governor can only be removed to impeachment by the legislature. So do you think the president is relying on another law, or is this a mistake?
Well, is it a law? That's not law. I'm telling you, Article 2 is not considered that central bank as law. Because Article 56 has never been reviewed. Releasing the power of the president to appoint and remove at his pleasure. So as long as that article has not been, we have not gone for referendum to remove Article 56 from the hands of the president. They should be very mindful of the president's power, because the president will make sure that all training positions that have been occupied, we're going to write the Capitol building this week, telling them the mistake, they should correct their error, because they never respected Article 2, and they went on creating compound complex issues around here that causing problems here. People depending on these laws that they give them, the power they give them, going to court. If this gentleman was informed, the former bank, the suspended bank governor was informed about Article 2 and Article 56, and then Article 91, he won't have been taking this step, because he knows very well that nowhere at no time Article 56 has been reviewed under our laws. And when you want to review it, the citizens will have to go for a referendum by voting in favor or against the president's power. Before, if it's removed, then you can create these new position for the various institutions. Until that happens, it remains same.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah, right.
So if the Supreme Court overturns the president's suspension, do you think he will find another way to get rid of Governor Talu, just like in the case of 10 officials?
Well, what we are trying to tell you, the president is not the president, but we will go to the legislature against the Supreme Court. We'll proceed with Article 73. Go and read it. We will make sure that they have built the peace of this nation. They should be removed. The Supreme Court the bench should be removed. All right? Because they didn't do that law. They didn't do that. The power to interpret the law. They should not look at the law. So the law that, as the two never granted, they said that the power that you are discussing. So if they go about that, the power has been granted to central bank, then we'll pursue with Article 73 to remove them from that bank.
Finally, so what do you make of the President Bouakai leadership of the country 6 months after?
Thank you very much. I think President Bouakai is trying his best to make sure that things go in the right manner or in the right direction because of the deficit account that he left. Right? When Madam Shelley was leaving power, she left $150 million in the account. When George Weah was leaving, President Weah was leaving power, he left only $25 million in the account. What do you think this president can depend on now to carry on most of the correction of these errors? And when you go look, the other report coming out to tell us that these guys get the money. And we need this money to carry on development. So if we cannot go, we cannot pursue these people to get the money from them, then we think the development will ever be achieved. It will be very slow. So this is why we are pursuing them to get the money from them, and then we make sure that development for next year, you see, to pass development.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So folks, so that's it. My name is Jeremiah Mulbah, currently here at the Kerry Street Intellectual Center, where I've come to engage with citizens as it relates to the issue that have to do with President Bouakai's CBL Governor title suspension will all be based on audits. That's Auditor General's report from the compliance audit of the Central Bank of Liberia for the fiscal years 2018-2023. But Talu's lawyer said to the Supreme Court the president's action was illegal and unconstitutional, asserting that the removal of the executive governor of the CBL could only occur through impeachment by the national legislature. So we have been speaking with scores of citizens here on Kerry Street. Do have yourself a wonderful day as we follow the case with President Bouakai or the Unity Party versus Governor Talu suspension. Bye-bye.